more rare than a $1 1992 Baragon Bandai straight from Japan? Kaiju fiction. No, not fan fiction. I'm talking legit, published, novelized fiction. Well, fortunately for us, there actually is a kaiju novel, and it's pretty damn good. Project Nemesis by Jeremy Robinson, a kaiju thriller, as it labels itself. Jeremy Robinson is an author who's just made like a bajillion books. He's written sci-fi and fantasy and horror. On Amazon.com, he's like, I believe, their #1 horror writer under the name of Jeremy Bishop. You go and you read his bio and stuff, and I mean, this sounds like the kind of guy you want to hang out with, right? The guy grew up watching Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, and Godzilla. So what's the deal with Project Nemesis? What is it about? What is it like? Well, imagine this if you will, right? It's War of the Gargantuas meets Tremors meets Jaws by the way of Godzilla 1954 and Resident Evil. Not the movies, the video game. But let's forget for a second that a kaiju is central to this story, right? I mean, there has to be more than just descriptions of the military fighting the giant monster or the giant monster crushing this building, right? Absolutely. Robinson has crafted a story that anybody can pick up. You don't have to be a tokusatsu fan or something like that to get anything out of this. Yes, there is a giant monster, but this is more, dare I say, of a horror story than it is, like, hey, this is only for the Japanese sci-fi nerd to watch Gamera every single week and stuff like that. Well, I'm not going to sit here and spoil a whole lot for you, but what I will tell you is that it's about a guy named John Hudson. He's a government agent who gets involved with an investigation that turns out to be much more gargantuan and much more terrifying than he could have possibly ever imagined. And of course, that terror ends up being Nemesis, the most interesting monster if there ever was one. And throughout the rest of the book, John Hudson, his agent friends, a really hot sheriff chick, an evil general, the government, an army, they're all running around trying to figure out exactly what's going on as Nemesis is essentially eating people, destroying buildings, and heading straight to Boston. Why exactly is she heading towards Boston? I'm not going to tell you. You got to read the book. Warning! What I'm about to say is probably going to piss a whole bunch of people off, and please don't kill me! Oh, no! But Project Nemesis is exactly what Godzilla 2014 should have been. What we get, in my opinion, is like the best of the best in terms of kaiju storytelling. This, like I said, is like Godzilla 1954 meets War of the Gargantuas with a little bit of like Gamera, Guardian of the Universe thrown in there. Frankenstein conquers the world even. And it leaves you, at least it left me, supremely entertained and wanting more. Now, I actually got to interview Jeremy Robinson before I reviewed this book. And I asked him, I said, what does it take to tell an effective kaiju tale? And this is what he told me. I think the best kaiju stories are also morality tales. This happens with kaiju when the creature exists as a direct result of mankind's hubris. We push the boundaries of science, break the laws of nature, and corrupt what is pure. The result? A big whooping from Mother Nature in the form of a kaiju, whether born out of a nuclear holocaust, science gone wrong, or pollution of some kind. Kaiju are metaphors for the global disasters we cause. And that's probably, from a fan's perspective, the best thing that I can say about this book. This guy gets his giant monsters. Now, having said that, ironically, some of the same problems that I have with a lot of like the Godzilla movies, I have with this book. And it primarily has to do with the characterization. Some of these folks would not be out of place in a sci-fi original movie. Like Ashley Collins, the curvaceous strippo cop sheriff that can handle herself in any given situation. And just another small gripe, with the incredible plethora of action scenes, explosions, firefights, copter crashes, citywide destruction, they always pretty much get out completely unscathed, except for a small exception towards the end of the book. The good guys are good because they're good. The bad guys are bad because they're bad. Any kind of development that would propel them out of 2D territory is, in my opinion, missing. That is, of course, besides Nemesis, who, perhaps appropriately enough, comes off as the most interesting character the novel has to offer. Now here's where the nerd in me is just going to go completely bonkers. Nemesis is my favorite thing about this book. I mean, bar none, just the greatest thing that Jeremy Robinson created in these pages. This creature is a duality, a monster with a human soul. Why that is? I'm not going to tell you. You got to go read the book. She's constantly at odds with herself. She'll eat people, and then she'll feel like a twinge of guilt, an emotion that she's never before felt. And it's just a very compelling character. The star monstrosity Nemesis is an amalgam of Resident Evil, Greek myth, rubber-suited creature, and a human tragedy all combined into one thing. It's the kind of beast that becomes memorable due to its sheer simplicity, something Robinson was well aware of when he created her. It's not about mass destruction, body counts, or a face only Mamagon could love. It's heart, or motivation. I need to feel something for the kaiju. Mindless monsters aren't fun to hate, and they're impossible to cheer for. A monster without motivation is a story without a point. Even if the human characters are well-rounded, if the monster is not, the story will never become iconic in my mind. And to toot my own horn, I think that's what's best about Nemesis. Sure, the creature's laying waste to New England, including my hometown Beverly, Massachusetts, and killing thousands of people, but by the end of the book, guess who you're hoping wins? I think that's what makes a kaiju iconic. When you want them to win, or at least survive, because they represent, in a very raw way, truth and justice. Her whole arc is essentially just one big giant revenge story, but it's the best thing about this book. And what's really kind of interesting is that Matt Frank, most Godzilla fans would know his work from like the covers of the IDW Godzilla comics and such. This guy helped create Nemesis, basically. Robinson basically contacted him, asked if he would do some work, gave him some descriptions, and then Frank just went off and did some drawings and basically kind of improved upon the descriptions that Robinson gave him. When I first saw the designs, they're shown in the back of the book. She kind of looks like Dinosaur from Ultraman. And what's really wild is like this character has like just created this kind of cult following, basically. That Kaiju combat game, the video game that received the Indiegogo funding a couple years back, has licensed this character as a boss in the final stage of the video game. Ultimately, you can play as her, but I can't even imagine this, because what's really gonna suck for, you know, the players and the rest of those monsters in there is that Nemesis is gonna kick your ass. So, is it worth going toe-to-toe with the monstrous Project Nemesis? In a word, def. I love the fact that Robinson is a legit kung fu word master of action, that his title creature of this feature is unique and completely memorable. The characters, yeah, okay, a bit on the weak side in my not so at all professional opinion, but John Hudson and gang are likable enough to see this story through to the end. Definitely check it out. So for Godzilla's sake, go check out Project Nemesis for the good of mankind and yourselves. And man, oh man, I wish that there was like more kaiju fiction out there. I would read that in a heartbeat. I don't know. One can only dream, right? One can only dream. Now before I let you go, there is something I want to point out to you, something really cool. The ebook versions of both Project Nemesis and Project Maigo, as of today, the release of this video, have been lowered in price to $4.99 a pop. Guys, that is a smoking deal, and you really should take advantage of that. The ebooks are available at all the usual places, Amazon, iTunes. There's a couple other ones out there. You can find links to them in the description down below. And guys, just go get them. Great deal, and I hope you enjoy them. And with that said, I'll see you later.